Hello there. Welcome back to. So we're still waiting here. Hello there. Welcome back to the new player guide to retail World of Warcraft. My name is Yogurt. I'm your host on this lengthy journey. Our goal with this video series, as previously mentioned, is to hit 3K Mythic Plus ranking and get the ahead of the curve achievement before the end of Season 2, which is just a few days away. Last time we did time walking dungeons for the very last time to try and get a piece of heroic gear that we could catalyze into a piece of tier. We weren't able to get that, which is very unfortunate. Should put a new little add-on there for our mini map buttons. Last time we did time walking and we got another hero track trinket. We got the Mr. Lockenstock, which is absolutely not what we wanted. We enchanted our gear. We put some gems in it. So today what we want to do is complete our 4 mythic dungeons. You can do these on Mythic 0 difficulty, which awards champion track gear, or you can do them on Mythic Plus, and because we need score, we're going to do them on Mythic Plus. So we don't have a key because we didn't pick from our vault, although we probably just should at this point. But what we're going to do is just try and find some 2 keys. Just going to report some ads here. We're going to try and find some +2 keys that will give us a little boost to our IO, get these dungeons done, kind of just like work our way up. So this guy's says he's got a big alt, but a 2 mother load, 2 rookery, no lust in there, so they probably won't take us. Oh yeah. This guy says +2 blasting weekly. We like that. We want to blast the weekly too. Probably a lot of people that are applying to these, so what we should probably do is pick one. Oh, that's a +12. Should probably pick one that just has a DPS player in it and go from there. I don't really want to do Theater of Pain. All right. Invited to the rookery. So we're going to do a +2 rookery with Mora, a druid. The rest of the group will form up here. And honestly, should probably just pull these champion track. Oh, hi. Hello. Should probably just pull these champion track shoulders, catalyze them, get it over and done with. But I'm being really stubborn about this for some reason. Let's just do it. It's better to grind. We need to use multiple catalyst charges. That's totally fine. Give us a +2 Dark Flame Cleft. So if this group takes a little bit to fill up, we'll just start our own. But it looks like it's going okay. So we just pulled those shoulders. We're going to drop them into the catalyst. It's going to bring us down to 6 charges left. And then we're going to take our hero track pants. We're going to put those in there too. That'll bring us down to 5 charges left. So we want to save these 5 specifically, most likely for hero gear. All right, we're within epic. We probably want to save these for hero gear just because that's the most that we can get at this point in the season, because we're running out of of time. We're not going to get a vault. We're not going to be able to do a +10 key and pull a vault from that. That would have a piece of myth gear. I forgot where we're going. Oh, Rookery. So we already have Hero Track pants. We want, I think, everything except for like chest, or honestly, I think chest or pants were bad on the stats. Pants obviously have high crit, low mastery. So we're just at this point we're gonna save. What we want to catalyze for sure is a Hero Track helmet and a Hero Track gloves. But for right now, we just need to start grinding our Mythic Plus. So that was our last piece of 610 gear, so we're up to 642 item level, which is pretty good. I really want to get to like 655. Little concerned that he asked if we're ready. 646, so he's about the same as us. 659. 627 is a little bit on the lower end. He does have 2-piece though. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I forgot to buy potions. I really need to buy potions. I'm going to write that down. Buy potions. Transmog gear. All right, we didn't do the ready check.
Titans, you are here. The Storm Perch has been breached, and the Storm Riders corrupted.
So Rookery, I don't think we've done this on Mythic Plus yet. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is come in here and set my focus for my kick macro here. So a couple things have changed a little bit. On Mythic difficulty, this little fella here, Quartermaster, has a new frontal ability. So you can see that you want to dodge. Ranged can stand up on this little tent back here to avoid it, but sometimes I think it does cause it to bug out. So, oh, lost our tank. Just doing what we can to help out there.
While you go to the roosts, I will distract them here. We can link.
Hello. So first pull usually is a big one. Usually we do it with Lust. So we didn't do it with Lust there. We'd have a debuff. Normally you do it with Lust and you'll kill everything. The main things to look out for are the Thunderers that will cast. So you want to kick them in. And then you also want to look out for the frontal, obviously. Oh boy. This, I don't know what it is. This is a fun dungeon about fun dungeon for Killing Spree. But yeah, we're kind of in it today. I mean, this is really the end. The rest of the game is relatively cyclical in what you're kind of like looking to do with your time. So really what we're going to be doing is just trying to level up our keystones and get as much score as we can. So we want to join successful groups. We want to help make those groups as successful as we can. And at the end of this dungeon is going to be a piece of champion gear. Our goal is to really just get it up to the +6s. so we can start getting some hero gear and really just like replacing everything that we got leveling up from this point. So it's really just about getting comfortable with your class and your spec, and just like working the IO not leaderboards, but working your way up the IO chain, just by hitting all the low keys. That's going to give us a ton of score, and it's going to let us complete this quest, and then we'll go from there. Oh, I'm not getting very lucky rolls here. Ask and you shall receive. Oh, I'm in my single target build. Shoot. Okay, we gotta do that too. That's why we're not getting combo points when we Blade Flurry. One little thing about Mythic Plus dungeons is that you can't change your talents in a Mythic Plus dungeon. You have to actually like go outside to change your talents. So we're not gonna be changing our talents right now. Just gonna roll with what we got. It's not the end of the world. You'll probably notice a couple like minor changes to the UI. Primarily this icon up here on top of the nameplates. This is called Omni CD, and it just highlights when an NPC is under the effect of crowd control. So whether or not that is like one of my kicks or blind, any sort of crowd control, it will highlight that. So this boss we haven't done since we were in the follower dungeon, as far as I can remember. And so when we were in there, I did mention some of the effects that he has. So he'll do this like spread AoE that we just kind of navigated through right there. It does deal like AoE damage to the whole group. And then he will teleport to the middle, just like he did here, and he will, after a short delay, he will cast that beam. He's going to cast 4 beams, and if you're standing on these solid parts of the platform, you will always be safe. These grates over here, those are never safe. That's where the beams will spawn. So avoid the grates and stay on the solid part of the platform. And then for the few folks that might be watching that are outlaw rogues, killing spree kind of stinks here, but I'm not gonna have to worry about it. This killing spree will change next time. So I want to get off that grate. Normally you do want to try and join your group. Like right now I'm a little far away from the healer, but the damage here isn't too bad. So spread, don't stand in the AoEs, and then you jump down into the middle. You do want to try and hit one of these birds because it does give you a damage buff. And then the group will come over here.
Finally, I thought I'd have to fight Gorin on my own.
We're just going to sneak along down here. Trash mobs will get a little bit more in terms of abilities to work with. So you'll see these guys, these coalescing void diffusers, will cast this arcing void. You want to try and make sure that you're not in the group with it, and then they'll do this suck ability. That'll pull people in. You don't want to be in there when that thing explodes. And then the crushers, they just leap out to members of the party and just do a little slam on them. And then the oracles, which we already killed, the oracles are just casters. So you want to try and target the coalescing diffuser because they have the most health. And then you want to try and make sure you're out of there. It can be a little bit annoying for melee characters. And this room, much of the same. Rook guards don't do anything. Oracles will cast on team members, so you do want to try and kick them. And then these diffusers, you have 2 of them in this last pack, so it's usually a good idea to try and kill one of them, sort of focus in on it. You know, not saying that you can't do any sort of AoE abilities at all, but it can be a little bit tough to take this damage. And we'll head into the boss room. Normally what folks will do here is they'll pull these little trash, these civilians, in with the rest of the group. Or in with the boss. Because they just kind of die. They don't really do anything. And last time we did this boss, it was... have you gotten it yet? I don't know. Just let it around here. Last time we did this boss, he died pretty quick. Oh, that's bad. So let's talk about this boss. Last time we did this boss, he died really quick. We couldn't see any of the mechanics. His mechanics are this leap that sends out these little spires, I guess, columns, and they hurt. He puts out chaotic corruption onto one party member, and then it will jump to the next closest party member. After 4 jumps, it will essentially go away. It'll dissolve. So what you want to do is, if you get it twice, at high keys, if you get it once, you should probably be using a defensive. If you get it twice, you're probably dead without some form of immunity. I use Cloak of Shadows because I got it twice because I was talking and I wasn't paying attention. That's pretty much it. Then he does that little kind of like suck in move right here. You just don't want to be in it when it explodes. And that's pretty much it. These trash packs, 2 crushers, and a new trash mob, the Ascendant. The Ascendants will cast. You can kick the cast. And then they're going to put out a debuff. Here it goes. A debuff on the whole party. It's a heal absorb. And so if you can dispel it, you want to. And then they do this little AoE ability. So kick, dodge, dip, dive, and duck.
I do not like that it feels darker and colder as
I
we
do
go
not
down,
like green eggs and ham.
but there are more survivors to rescue. The lift is out. If we want to keep going, we will have to go down the Storm Rider way.
Then we drop down
Follow
here.
What is that? What did Gorin bring here? We have to take it down.
Oh. These civilians down here, they do sort of like a corpse explosion type thing. So when they die, you don't want to stand in there. We all kicked it. The monk kicked it, I kicked it, and we got a solar beam. These consuming void stones, nothing too crazy. What they'll do right here is a channeled ability called Unleash Darkness. You will take AoE damage, pulsing AoE damage, just like as he channels the ability, and then if you stand in the little things on the ground, it's even worse. So try not to stand in the things on the ground. This is a general good rule of thumb if you're playing retail World of Warcraft. Or any version of World of Warcraft for that matter. Then what we're doing here is we're just clearing our way to the boss platform. That was an interesting pull. People don't normally do that. see why. Just gonna pop all of my defenses because I don't want to die at this point. One thing you can do is just pull that group separately while cooldowns recharge, and then pull this one into the big giant here. Oh god, please don't pull two big giants. He's doing it. Okay. We're gonna die. Nearly positive that we will be dying here. Unfortunately, with the rookie, rookery, the run back is. Oh, actually, I thought there's a way to jump down. So it'll drop you here. There's a you respawn here. You can run down the flight of stairs and drop down to this little platform. Should look pretty familiar. It's where we came from the other boss. He's not wrong. I didn't interrupt. I don't know if that's exactly why we died, but probably would have helped. One of the things that you'll probably notice from this +2 and from Mythic Dungeons in general, is that, you know, the timer does play a factor. So if you're getting into If you're getting into Mythic Plus and you're, in the tank role or something like that, you might come across folks that are a little bit on the impatient side. You don't want to just kind of go like one pack at a time. You do want to try and move through at a good clip. So this boss we also killed too quickly last time. So this boss has 2 phases. He has a damage amp phase, which he's in right now. After you break through his shield, he takes 100% more damage and he's stunned, so there's nothing happening. So you want to save your cooldowns for that, and then we're going to start chunking through this shield again. When he's in the shielded phase, that is when a couple things will happen. He'll put a debuff on 2 group members that the healer will have to take care of, and then he's going to put these little circles around folks, and there's going to be these pillars, and you want to break the pillars. Killing spree for this guy, it actually puts you in the center, so hopefully people haven't dropped puddles there. If they have, it's not too bad, especially at this key level. You also want to save your battle lust for that damage amp part of the fight as well. Oh, I didn't see that. Looks like we've got a mob. So we missed one. Oh, I just ran inside. Oh no. Oh, that's hilarious. We did it. We did heroic and mythic, and we completed it. So end of our +2 dungeon here. We got a little bit more score, so you can see we're up to 463. We got 25 Valor Stones. We got bonus Valor Stones because someone, me, got an increase in Mythic Plus score. So we got 50 Valor Stones. We got 10 Runed Crests. These are heroic level crests. And then from the dungeon, we got another freaking trinket. We got a champion 2 out of 8 trinket. So most important thing that we got here today was we increased our IO score, which is going to help. We're up to 463, so this is going to help us get into groups and build groups. And normally, if you're a mage, what you'll do is you'll drop a portal at the end. Doesn't look like that's going to be happening here, so we're going to Hearthstone out of here. Looks like they're flying. Mages, if you're a new mage watching this, you can train in teleport and portals. Good common practice is just drop a portal for your group after you're done to the major city. So now we're going to go in here and we're just going to list our +2 key. We have 1 out of 4 done on our dungeons. We did okay on our interrupts here. We could do a little bit better. Excuse me. We did pretty good on our overall damage, 1.4 million DPS, which is great. So we got +2. I don't really want to run with that tank, so I'm just going to keep that in mind. Druidic Dad. 642 item level. So basically, we ran a +2 a while ago. Our own key, we 3-chested it because we got a 680 Dev Evoker in there. So we're just going to give it a quick minute to sort of populate while so we can see who might be joining us.
I understand your frustration,
666.
but do not rush to conclusions.
It's a pretty good gear level. Kind of surprised. Looks like they're greater. Maybe they're getting their druid geared up, but They're a little bit higher than we are, so we'll invite them. Things that we're looking for, just like we were before when we were making a group, we're looking for higher item level. We're looking for battle res, which Druid provides, Druid, Warlock, Death Knight, Paladin. We're looking for a Bloodlust, Shamans, Evokers, Mages, all Hunters, all provide Bloodlust. Those are the key things that we're looking for, and then we like our raid buffs as well. We're also going to go ahead and make some purchases. So we need Algari healing potions. I want like 40. I just buy the rank 2s because we're on a budget. You can buy the rank 3s when you get a little bit higher. It's like we got 638 monk tank, 657 Beastmaster Hunter. This is probably fine for a +2. We got our health stones, we got our potions. Oh, they're gone. Shoot, I should have invited them. Change our talents back. So we're going to go into the talent tree. Change it back to Mythic Plus. That's going to give us those AoE talents and keep it rolling. And then we also made some changes to our gear. So we're just going to go fix up our transmog really quick. It's a pretty good hunter. We'll take him. That's the lust that we need. So we have our 3 DPS. Chessman. I'll try helmet today. I'm feeling helmety. So now we're just looking for a tank and we're looking for a healer. This can be one of the longest waits just to find a decent one. He'll do for this +2. The nice thing about getting some pre-made groups in is that usually someone will take that role. He just changed his spec, so I'm not super sure why. Okay, change back. We're just going to take a quick look at him. 660. Cool. He's got all the stuff. He's fully champion geared. He's a PvPer. Bulgari plate combatant sabatons. Gladiator amulet. Interesting. All right. Is what it is. We're just waiting for a healer to queue up. And then we'll go to Dark Flame Cleft. We fixed our transmog, we fixed our spec talent tree, and we bought potions. Potions brings us into another conversation, which I know that if I start it, a healer is going to queue up, but we can talk about professions today a little bit. So we went over way back in the beginning. We went over the different professions that are out there. Here in Dornegal, I'll just kind of fly around a little bit. You have access to all the profession trainers. You've got leatherworking. You've got tailoring. So leatherworking is leather armor and cloth armor. Skinning is the profession that fuels that. Tailoring. As soon as you learn tailoring, you'll start picking up cloth off of NPCs. That's what fuels that, is cloth that you just get from killing things. Enchanting, you fuel enchanting by disenchanting your gear. Or others' gear, BOE gear, whatever it might be. Jewel crafting, this is fueled by mining, much like blacksmithing, which we'll go talk about in a second. You break down, when you mine, you get ore. You can take that ore and break it down and find gems, or you can smelt it using blacksmithing. So blacksmithing is in here. Blacksmithing is for martial weapons and he's right on the edge. He's a little low, but he is a healer. He is a paladin. I don't know. Martial weapons, plate armor is for blacksmithing. Then we also have Inscription. Inscription has some unique things, like, it'll have on-use item that you can use once per week that will give you more versatility in certain boss fights in the raid. It'll have caster weapons, so staves, wands, offhands, or staves and offhands. And then it'll also have like some profession knowledge equipment. We'll talk about profession knowledge. Alchemy, which is what we have, this is potion making. That's fueled by herbalism. And Inscription is also fueled by herbalism. There's our guy. So we're going to head down to Dark Flame. Before we do that, we're going to turn in this quest to kill 4 bosses or complete raids, and we'll pick up the next one.
Word on the street. Catch you on the flip side. Well, spit it out. Be careful out there.
We're going to also double check our dungeon difficulty is set to Mythic. So we'll head down there. Like I mentioned, you have to actually go to the different dungeons or get summoned to the different dungeons. So Rookery, obviously that was our first one. Super close. Dark Flame Cleft is down in the Ringing Deeps, so we got to fly down there. The other professions, so you can only learn 2 professions at a time, of the ones that I just listed. So I've chosen alchemy and I paired it with herbalism because I was hoping that I would be able to save some money. Like I just bought those potions. I could actually craft those potions, at least at rank 1. We'll talk about the ranks once we're done with this dungeon. There's also 2 other professions. Archaeology is no longer maintained. They don't really do anything with that, but cooking and fishing. So cooking is just the art of it's cooking. You can eat food, it'll give you buffs. So if you level your cooking, you can prepare that food. You can turn that food into hardy food, which will persist through death. And then fishing is just fishing. So in every body of water, you can throw in a fishing rod and pull out some fish, which you can sell on the auction house to cooks. So if you need to like grind gold, you can leverage your professions, like as an herbalist or a skinner or a fisherman. I could go out and harvest all of that and sell it on the auction house to make a little bit of money. I'm just standing outside because I'm waiting. Hewn Passage is what it looks like inside. Looks like our paladin isn't here, so I'm hoping that this shaman will help us summon him. I'm slightly nervous about a PvPer coming in and doing this Mythic Plus dungeon, but hey, is what it is. I'm sure it'll do fine. It's a +2. So the shaman just sat down to eat. Our tank's here. So we're going to do /ready check. Oh man, we got to do a bunch of stuff. We need to buy flasks, oils. Everybody's ready. So we're going to do /pull10. We're going to walk over to the keystone and
5,
an add-on that we
4,
just installed
3,
automatically put the keystone
2,
in there.
1.
When the countdown's done, we'll hit activate and it'll start the dungeon. We're going to open up with our tricks of the trade on our tank. Oh man, sorry to hear that, Raven Crown. We could do that. So Dark Flame Cleft. We didn't do this. We did a tangential scenario. Oops, I was supposed to keep it rolling, not reroll. We did a tangential scenario when we were down in the Ringing Deeps. You start off in this room here. Normally what folks will do is they'll pull even the little laborers to get trash percentage. And then you'll go into this section of the dungeon that's kind of a pain in the butt because it has these casters, and it also has these little mole herds that are out here, and the mole herds just like to cast throw rock on the ranged folks. If you tank on the mole herds, they will actually stop throwing the rock. So if the whole group clusters on the mole herds, it's not so bad. You can also, stun them using your single target stuns. And then there are those casters, those wick lighters that we want to try and kick in to DPS everything down as quick as possible. Then you also have these overseers, and the overseers will man, it's not great. The overseers will aggro your group, and they will cast an AoE. And you'll see that here. So this part of the dungeon gets really messy because you can see they just knocked the overseer just knocked that one mole herd into another pack. So I'm gonna stop talking and just try and be as good as I can here. They also do damage to the mobs, so it is good to pull the overseers, but it can get a little out of control pretty quickly. You can see here we've got an overseer over here. We've got these mole herds throwing rocks on all of our range. We got the wick lighters casting. Like it's just omega chaotic. So something that would help would be like an AoE blind. Now, if you're really, really good, especially as a tank, you can position those overseers to knock them in a good direction or forward through the dungeon, whatever it might be. So we're coming up on the first boss here. Waxbeard. Waxbeard, his arena is on these tracks. He does a couple different abilities. He also has ads. You don't really need to focus on the ads too much. You can passively cleave them down. But the way that Waxbeard works is he summons these mine carts. They'll knock the ads around, deal damage to them, and then he'll summon an explosive mine cart filled with dynamite that you need to damage before it blows up. There. As a tank, you want to tank them, tank the boss near the minecart, and then he's going to do this reckless charge ability. You want to try and point him towards one of the pillars to keep him from charging. It has infinite range, so you want to keep him from charging all the way off into the yonder. So a pillar is good. When he hits the pillar, he'll knock down some of the ceiling onto the floor, and it'll basically one-shot any remaining laborers. So and then we continue on through.
I know this place. Old Waxbeard's been here forever. Didn't trust nobody. So mean.
So you walk down to the end of the tracks, you drop down into the next part of the arena.
Quick.
In here you have fiends. These are the kick priorities, and then you have candles. These do AoE damage. So you usually want to pull one, maybe in a group like this, two at any other time in a more coordinated group. We don't actually want to walk through here. We should pull some more because we want percent. So I'm gonna say we'll need some percent. So good to pull most of that room. So here we have a bunch of the different fiends, and they do an AoE. So alongside the candle guy, we want to make sure that we're picking and interrupting, and you only need to pull, you know, you can leave a couple up so that you can kick appropriately. Boss Blazicon. He'll cast AoE, Dousing Breath. It will essentially do some AoE damage to you. Then he's going to target a few raid members or a few group members, prioritizing ranged. And he's going to, they're going to get these circles around them, and around the room, oh god, around the room there are candles, and you want to light up the candles, which helps to which helps with this one. For every lighted up candle, or sorry, I'm getting my mechanics confused here. So you want to light up as many candles as you can with that, and then he's going to cast another ability that was this, the gust of wind. The gust of wind, not this one, the other one, will blow the candles out, and you only want to blow out one candle. So you want to light as many as you can, but you only want to blow out one. So these guys are going to start running to their different candles. And then the next ability that we're going to get right now is Enkindling Inferno. So, and then we get Extinguishing Gust. So this is the one that blows them out. And as a melee, we should just be on the other side. You only want to blow out one, which we did. You can know which ones you're blowing out by the corners of this little platform here. So there's always a candle directly behind each one of these little corners. So if you don't want to blow one out, stand in the middle. If you do want to blow one out, stand on a corner. Usually the healer does that to help control things. And then in this next room, it's all these like little guys. So they're just casters, normal casters. You want to try and do what you can to group them all together, but it's pretty challenging. Groups you can line of sight them around the corner. Or if you're a paladin, you can throw Divine Shield and send stuff around. Then we're heading into the third boss, the Candle King. We're gonna have to kill these guys right in front of us here. So 2 elite mobs, and oh boy. They'll do you'll kill off their followers pretty quickly. They'll do a couple abilities. One is a knockback, and then one is lighting these little candles. They also do like a chokehold and a frontal frame breath that you want to avoid. So interrupt. So it's now. I think I can vanish that. That's what I just did there. So he targeted me with the headlock. I just hit vanish. So we just avoided that mechanic. And then we're going to come up to Candle King. I'm going to try and speed through the mechanics of this boss. Wax statues will summon around each group member, so you want to stay clustered. He'll throw an axe. The person who's targeted by the axe will want to go to one of the out-of-the-way candles and stand behind it so that they can... So here's the wax statues. There's also a kick mechanic, and the tank can't kick it every time. There's the axe, so you stand behind a statue. I would normally pick one that's a little more further out of the way, because then we're gonna get these little circles around us. and those are going to take care of the other wax statues. This fight is a healing check. Basically, you want to stay grouped so that you can take care of the statues pretty easily. The more statues that are out there, the more AoE damage that impacts the group. So you can see the whole group's kind of ticking down. You know, it's really not too bad at this difficulty, but the longer the fight keeps going, the more damage it is. So I have the pickaxe, so and then a little bit of area denial with the wax on the floor here.
Wax and ruin.
Fix Omni CD.
No more candle king.
So the reason that I asked him to get a little bit more trash from the beginning part is because we're only at 66%. And this dungeon, there's not a whole lot of trash, and the trash at the end isn't very good in terms of percentage. So the next thing after that boss fight is this little minecart event. So essentially, every time you're outside of the minecart or outside of the candlelight, your team members can't see you. They'll have these little horrors that will come and try and come and drain the minecart. You want to kick those. And then the little minions that die will buff the minions that are standing on top of it. So like this creeper has an ability called Eater of the Dead. So his damage done is increased by 80% because of the corpses that are under it. So you want to make sure you're not tanking him on top of corpses, because the tank's going to take huge amounts of damage. So normally what people will do, or what tanks will do, is you can see if you're holding a candle or if you're near the cart. So normally the tank will like run ahead. You don't have to do this if you're a pug tank, or you're new to tanking. They'll go grab a candle, run around, pick up all these mobs, and then bring them back to the cart. The cart runs on the candles to keep going. So down here at the end, we started this at 66%. You can see here we're at about 70 or about 80%. At the end, you'll be near this pile of dynamite. You pick up a pile of dynamite. Everybody in the group needs to pick it up. You'll all jump in the cart, and then the darkness will start chasing after you. The darkness is the final boss here. So the group wants to throw dynamite at it while it chases you down this hallway. EBM has a nice, fun little chart that tracks the hits, who's actively throwing. I'm pretty sure that there's a cap on how much damage you can do here, but if theoretically, if nobody did anything in the final boss fight, you would have to do a little bit more damage. So I just usually spam it while I'm pointing at him, just to be sure. And then this is the last room of trash. So as a tank, you really want to make sure that you pulled enough in here, because the only thing that gives percentage in this last room really are these creepers. You can see this gives 1%, 1.04%, and the little darkness mobs give 0.26%. So it's not a lot, and we need to get 20%. So we're gonna probably have to go back, in my opinion here, which is okay. It happens. Things happen. But there's only so many creepers and darkness in this room, so. Well, it looks like he just wants to do the boss, which is fine. One of the things that, you know, you can do is you can teleport back, or you can run back and find some stuff. So we'll take care of this boss and then we'll go get it. So this boss, this is the darkness. It has this candle mechanic. If you get close to the candle, you can pick it up. I usually like to just like run in a little bit and drop it in the middle of the room. You have to do the fight, obviously, in the candlelight here. So and you'll get a little purple circle. You can run out. The candle will drain over time. So if you get the purple circle, it's usually a good idea to run out to one of the candles, pick it up, and bring it back in to refuel yours. And then he does that frontal breath. That frontal breath, you want to move the candle by picking it up. And then he summons some ads, and he channels that ability called Eternal Darkness. Somebody needs to go and get a candle during Eternal Darkness so that it doesn't go down to 0%. If it goes down to 0%, everybody in the party gets feared. Fears are not good. Because everybody dies. So it can be a little tough, particularly for a new healer, to go and pick up one during the AoE, because everybody is taking damage. So if you're a ranged DPS player, preferably, like it looks like this guy's going out there right now, maybe not intentionally. If you're a ranged DPS player, you can go out and grab one. And then we need some trash percent, so need some trash. Thankfully, it does bring you back kind of to where we started the dungeon. So down here is that same pull that we did. We just didn't kill these candles or anything. And then when you jump down, there's a candle to get you back up. Creepers are low percent. We can drop down. Here's a port back up. Ooh, that could be scary. Yeah, we got stunned. So if you're doing Mythic Plus dungeons, don't forget the as the tank, you're somewhat in charge of the trash percentage there. So you want to make sure that you're accumulating enough. If you don't know, you can ask. Usually the group will help, or they just won't care. There are also a couple useful add-ons and tools that you can leverage. Like method dungeon tools, or mythic dungeon tools as it's called now.
Well done.
There we go, +2'd it. And then I'll show them. There's a little candle over here. That'll pop us back up top. So I think I turned it on. Maybe I didn't. Mythic Dungeon Tools. So this is an add-on in-game. It'll pop up a little map that'll show you every trash pull and boss, and you can go through and you can click on each one. You can create little pulls and little routes on what you want to do. And it'll calculate your trash percent over here on the side. So a couple things that you can do. This guy got a champ trinket. And this guy got some champ legs. We don't need any of those. So we're just going to hearth out of the dungeon. 2 out of 4 done. There's also some really great weak aura packs for Mythic Plus that you can download that'll do things like highlighting important mechanics. We can pull one of those in just so you can see what it looks like. We're going to start just by getting our +4 mother load listed up here. So we 2-chested that, so our score is up to 631. One additional bonus that we're going to get is at 2K, we'll actually get another charge for our catalyst. So every season at the start, there's a quest that you can, or a hidden achievement, I guess, that you can complete. So if you kill the last boss on heroic difficulty, if you achieve a certain rating in PvP, or if you get 2000 Mythic Plus rating, you'll get a little quest that'll pop up that'll give you an extra catalyst charge. So that's something to keep in mind for the future. So we got our +4 mother load. Not sure how many folks we're going to get to join it, but we'll see. We'll keep it posted for a minute. And we can talk about professions a little bit more. +2 keys tend to have a decent amount of folks. I don't know what it is about the +4 range. I think it does probably have to do with the rewards. They're not super great until you get to +6 and +7. So that's kind of our goal, is to get +6 key that we can post ourselves and get a decent group together to go through that, because +6 is going to give hero gear. +7 is what we really want to farm, because it's going to give us gilded crests, and with gilded crests we can craft higher item level gear. So one of the things that you've probably seen that we're getting at the end of these dungeons is fractured sparks of fortune, because we're so far into the season. We just get them from activities. We crafted our weapon, our hero weapon, but we still have 3 other ones that we can spend. So by default, it's just going to be item level 645 gear, but you can see here, like, our rings, our boots, our glove, well, not our gloves because they're tier, but rings, boots, our belt is good, but gloves, cloak, necklace, and bracers are all below item level 645. I think what we decided to do here was get some versatility embellishments, which probably isn't the best. Maybe we'll do the ring embellishment too. There is a high item level ring that you can go get by completing some activities in the side zone, but I'm not going to talk about that because it's not worth doing at this point. You'll get 681 rings from your Mythic Zero dungeons next week when you jump into Season 3. So, man, this is tough. We might need to get our score a little bit higher, maybe. things that people can see visibly are going to be your item level, and they're going to be your score. So those are the two metrics that you want to try and improve. We can bump up our score simply by pugging into some more of these. We now have a +4 mother load, so we could pug into a 2 or a 3 Theater of Pain, Cinderbrew Meadery, Workshop. That'll get us up above 1,000 score, which will make us a little bit more trustworthy. But it would be great to just go through and +2 this and get a 6 key, because then we'll get more people queuing up as they're trying to gear up their folks before the next season. Got a 647 Hunter. Could bring him in. Maybe we'll get a 3 top group. And then we're going to take a look. So rings are definitely an area that we want to craft something in. The cloak we are actually going to replace at the start of the new season. You'll get an artifact cloak. So I'm not super concerned with crafting one. We're kind of going for like an efficiency or a time thing. I don't really want to craft anything until I get 2 more mythic dungeons completed. We've got another hunter. Do we bring 2 hunters and me? I don't know what they want in mother load. But he's got gear. Doesn't really matter. We're just doing a +4. When do affixes start kicking in? I don't even know what the affixes are this week. I kind of want to save this spot for a group to queue up. We'll see. Even Hunter. At least we're getting a little bit of interest here. We'll keep it going. So I don't really want to craft anything until I can get those 2 done. I can unlock another heroic box, because I mean, I guess we can definitely go ahead and craft the ring. But if we get a hero cloak or something after we craft that, or hero boots after we craft that, I'll feel a little bit silly for just wasting our precious gold. So I am going to go in to the finger, armor, miscellaneous finger, and current expansion. It's the Ring of Earth and Craftsmanship. I'm going to track this recipe. I need 1 spark, which we have, blasphemite, 8 onyx, 20 marbled stone. I'm going to probably put an embellishment in here because there's a decent one, this elemental focusing lens. Deal bonus magic damage based on socketed gems. And then I don't have any enchanted crest, but I can make it a haste first ring. So I just tracked that recipe, and then using the auctionator add-on just like last time, I can go and pick up 1 blasphemite, onyx, marbled stone. Come back. I should have known.
I have an extended supply of goods for Outlanders.
And then I also want the focusing lens. My embellishment.
Return and peruse my
Yep, it'll work.
My directive is to serve you.
645. 645. Ring of Earth craftsmanship. Should get a bunch of messages right away. Tip as you want, send my way. Copy character name. Where's 5? 1,000 gold because we're running out of money. Place order. Now with gear, one thing I didn't mention last time is you can recraft this gear. So I'll show you what that looks like. So if I go under place order and start recrafting order, it'll show you all of your crafted gear here. This is our profession equipment, but this is our Everforged mace. So we started with a heroic mace. And if we gather enough materials, we can upgrade that to a mythic mace. So if we get a gilded runed undermine crest plus the gilded augmentation matrix for 90 gilded crests, we can actually add in 20 artisans acuity, which is a material that you gain from doing professions, 5 sanctified alloy and 1 ironclaw alloy, so not the full requirement again, and that'll upgrade it to item level 681. So that's definitely what we want to do down the line with both our ring and our weapon. But because we really want to just try and get some gains right now, and we have such poor rings, we're going to drop a 645 ring. We're going to get that put together. And then because this is a forever ring, we're going to try and see if we can enchant it and socket it. So the way that this embellishment works is based off of your gems. So your damaging spells and abilities have a chance to deal 100,000 damage to your target. The magic school is chosen based on your selection of socketed Khazalgar gems.
I have calibrated my prices to be reasonable.
I would love to put a blasphemite in our items, so I guess I will. I'll probably put the blasphemite in. I'm just going to buy a rank 2 just because I really can't afford the higher level ranks. I'm going to put a blasphemite in our disc belt, and I'm going to pick up a jeweler's setting. Crafted rings come with 1 socket. Adding a jeweler's setting will give it 2 sockets. And then I'm going to go into the gems and current expansion. Multiple stats. Haste and verse is what we're looking for. So I have 2 sockets. I want to get the most I can out of this blasphemite. So what I want to do is take the emerald, which is high haste. I'm going to get a versatile emerald, and I am going to buy it at rank 3. And I want to get a quick sapphire. It's going to be haste and verse opposing stats. Man, that was expensive. And then under item enhancements for finger, I could go ahead and buy radiant haste. God, that's expensive. We'll just do it. And then while we're here, one consumable that I haven't talked about are flasks. So I'm just going to buy 3 flasks of tempered swiftness. There are flasks for every stat. So I want haste, so I'm buying tempered swiftness. There's also flasks for other things, like a flask of alchemical chaos gives you increase a random secondary stat at the cost of other secondary stats. These effects are randomized again every 30 seconds. I usually just like the flat haste ones. So I grabbed those. Still not getting any interested bites in our +4 key, which is unfortunate. We're really hitting our first roadblock. If you find this disheartening, don't. This is the last week in the season, so there are not many people that are running these dungeons. Starting next week, there will be millions of people running these dungeons, or at least hundreds of thousands. So you'll be able to quite easily, everybody's slate is going to go black to blank, and they are going to they're gonna have to start grinding from the get-go. So we lost Kaladin, so I think what we might do is try and pug into some of these other ones and revisit this. So you know what I'm gonna do, because a 4 was such a hard time to fill. Maybe I could find somebody else's 4. Not really. We're going to adjust the filters a little bit. So we don't need Dark Flame Cleft or Priory or Rookery. So we're just going to take the 3 off the top here. We did do a Floodgate, but it was failed. But we did get some score for it. So I'm going to take Floodgate off too. And we're just going to look at what we have here. This is a +5. Just roll the dice on that one, see if they let us in. And then not much going on here, so we'll do Mechagon. We'll get our Theater of Pain done. Just apply to all these. All right, +2 workshop. So we'll hang out in this one for a little bit. While we were doing that, we put the sockets on our ring. We're enchanting it with the big enchant. We have our flasks here that we'll drink when we're in the dungeon. It's 43 item level. What can we do to increase this? We can do our delves. And get some gear from weekly boxes. We could take our undercoin and we could buy a wave scrambler. This wave scrambler is for 2,000 undercoin. You can purchase this to place it down in a delve after you get to the checkpoint, and it will summon the delve boss that will give you a delver's bounty, and at the end of that we can get a piece of hero gear. So it'd be a good opportunity for us. So I'm going to take a look with the crest that we do have. Is there anything that we can upgrade? We want to upgrade our weapon as much as possible. So it does look like we can spend a bunch of money to upgrade our weapon, and then a bunch of carved crests and rune crests to upgrade our weapon. We'll never have to upgrade it again, so we're going to go ahead and do that. That's going to be a big one for us. That slot is essentially best in slot for us right now. So we're really just waiting until we build up enough gilded crests. That gave us another item level, which would be good. And this party is filling a little bit faster than the other one. Which had a tank join. So workshop. For workshop, this is one of the older dungeons. So we're going to go down here on the map. It's right above the Great Vault. It's the portal to the Timeways. And we'll jump in here. Need to repair. I can't remember what it was. Motherlode or workshop? I don't remember. I think it was workshop. So workshop is this portal over here to the left. It's going to take us to Mechagon Island. This is a fun one for us because the last time we were here, we failed our Mythic Plus dungeon before weekly reset, which is a shame. If we had just completed one of those, we'd have another piece of hero gear to work with. Instead, all we have is hero trinkets. And thankfully, there's somebody out here with a mammoth, so we're going to repair. We are running out of gold. We're going to sell all this junk, and then we're going to look in here. I'll keep that just because I don't know how good it is. And we're just going to vendor everything we can to try and recoup as many costs as we possibly can. Okay, not too bad. Got a little bit.
May your feet find
Got a little bit of money. Somebody asked for a summon, right? Hookster. Oh, he's here. Cool. So we went through most of Mechagon. We didn't get to the final boss. We got to the last platform before the final boss. So for this one, we're just going to kind of chill. I'm not going to go through and explain. Well, maybe I'll do just a brief digest of each of the bosses as we get up to them. So we bought some flasks while we were there at the auction house, and like I said, flasks increase your primary stat. They last for 1 hour and they last through death. Now, one of the reasons that we chose alchemy as our profession, and this relates to profession knowledge, is that as you progress through your alchemy, you'll gain skill points. You can see here the Kazelgar alchemy for this expansion goes up to 100. And each time you craft something for the first time, it'll teach you something new, and you'll get points that you can spend on specialization.
2, 1.
We want to spend those specialization points in the flask tree. It's going to help us make flasks better. It's going to increase our skills specifically with making flasks. And then it's also going to make, when we hit a certain skill point level, it's going to make our flasks last an additional hour. So we only have to eat essentially one flask for every 2 hours of game time that we're playing.
Some circus throwers have unwittingly stumbled into the arena. A word of caution to anyone sitting in the splash zone. Watch out for blood.
Ooh, that was a close call. So we got to kick those bombs. We want to make sure those bombs don't go off. Oop, there goes one. They do die, so that's good. So just a quick refresher. 2 bosses. This one charges you. This one does AoE slams into the ground. If you're the tank, eventually he'll plate up and you need to bring him over to a hammer to slam it off. You want to angle the charge away from you, and then bombs will spawn on the range players. There's also a tank AoE that you want to make sure that you're not standing in for. That's the tank AoE. Oh no, sorry. The tank AoE was over here. That was the charge. And that is the pummeler AoE. Ooh, it's a little spicy. A little spicy in there for us. We want to make sure that we are healing spraying at the right time. And we want to try and kill these at roughly the same time. That could be bad. That could be bad too. Much smoother than our last run. So you can see here the big robot's dead and he's just pulsing electric damage. Off to a much better start than the first key that we did. This boss, again, drops crates from the top shelf. Here comes a crate. You don't want to stand in it because it will squish you. He'll put a debuff on the tank when it's dispelled. It will deal damage to the group. Let's put a tank. He dispelled both stacks, which is not the best. I thought he would reset, but I guess not. You just gotta dispel the tank when he gets that bite debuff on him. It'll do AoE damage. To the group, and then you hide behind your box, and then he does the charge.
Sick 'em, boy! Look out below! I knew I should have walked you earlier! More trash
Toaster.
incinerators!
Hoaxer, my friend, you gotta get behind the box.
Look out below! It's playtime!
And then when you get the debuff like this, you want to make sure you don't run over to the box.
I knew I should have walked you earlier! Look out below! It's playtime!
As a tank, one of the small things that you can do, like I mentioned last time,
Knew I should
so you can tank them kind of somewhat close to the box so that melee like myself can just milk a little bit more damage.
Look out below! It's playtime! I knew I should have walked you earlier!
Probably shouldn't be throwing too much in David's plate. But David is a paladin, he has a battle res. That's okay.
It's playtime! I knew I should have walked you earlier! What have you done? You monsters! It'll take me weeks to rebuild him!
Fell off. That's what I get for sprinting. Oh my god, it's a maze down here. Just gonna move this down here.
Attention, citizens! Please remain in your domiciles.
Get it out of everybody's way.
Guards are currently en route to quell the disturbance. So, you dismantled
MK just asked on YouTube. What's up, MK? Resto Shaman, Resto Druid, or Holy Pala preferred in Mythic raids? So next week we're actually going to start Season 3, and everything is a little up in the air in terms of balancing. They'll do the Race to World first, and that will have a certain comp in it. I'd say that in raids, some of the more popular healers have been Discipline Priest and Mistweaver. But from Resto Shaman, Resto Druid, or Holy Paladin, each one of those brings a raid buff. And it really depends on the strength of the other specializations into whether or not it's in Mythic rating. So for example, Resto Druid, its throughput isn't the best in raids. It's really, really tuned well for Mythic Plus dungeons for Season 3. However, the other Druid specs are also not performing super well. So you might have some luck with Resto Druid. I think that Resto Shaman is strong in both. It's also great if you're a newer healer, because it doesn't rely on some of like the ramp styles of healing that you'll see from like Discipline Priest or from Resto Druid. So for Resto Druid, if you're good at like thinking ahead and knowing when the damage is coming, you'll perform really well on that one. Resto Shaman, it isn't reactive, you still need to plan, but Resto Shaman is very much like click and heal. And then Holy Paladin, obviously very different from the other two. It's a melee healer. It has like a combo point system called Holy Power. Honestly, you could see the likely guarantee is to see some sort of healing priest and some sort of healing monk in the Race to World first, but I think healer balance is really up in the air right now. If it was me, I would probably pick Resto Shaman if I was new to healing, and if I was a veteran at healing, I would pick probably Resto Druid. But I hope that helps. One of the guild leaders of the top guild in the Race to World First, Maximum, just put out a tier list video. Every season he gets together with experts of the class, and they come and like make their case in a big public forum as to where they think their class belongs on a tier list. And this year he broke it up into Mythic Plus and into rating. So if you want to hear what those specific experts have to say, you can look up Maximum on YouTube. It's on his stream right now, but it will turn into a YouTube video in like the next couple of days. And you can skip around to the different chapters to find those different healers. They're all kind of done in the beginning of the video anyways, so. Yeah, H-Pala required for tank healing. Definitely like a classic thing for sure. Or not necessarily just a classic thing, but in retail WoW as it stands right now, it's kind of like gone a little bit away from that. The tanks themselves are pretty self-sustainable. So really, like, all of the healers in raid are really just like utilized for their different raid cooldowns, which Holy Paladins is the strongest of their raid buff and their raid cooldowns. Holy Paladin in retail WoW has Devotion Aura, and then Holy Paladin only can use that as a raid cooldown through Aura Mastery, and Devotion Aura by itself is like a 3% damage decrease taken, but with Aura Mastery it turns to 15. So Holy Paladin is like the strongest of the raid buffs, but it's not necessarily, and it is still single target focus, but it's not necessarily like it was where you're really just going to focus in on healing the tanks. It really comes down to, especially at Mythic raiding, like all of the healers spreading their cooldowns out at the appropriate time to have the biggest impact. And if you join a guild, there'll be a healing officer or someone that's in charge of the healing note that will organize that to make sure that everything's being popped at the right time.
My misguided son returned.
It's actually funny too when like thinking of like single target healing, like in a 5-man dungeon group, everyone seems to be saying on the PTR for season 3 that Resto Druid can top characters up very, very quickly. So it's not necessarily like tank healing-esque, but very quick to heal. Ooh, that was bad. That was a bad killing spree. And then if you're looking for any like resources too, there are some really good content creators for all of those folks. You can look up J.B on Twitch and Twitter for Resto Druid. You can look up Ellesmere on Twitch and YouTube for Holy Paladin. And then for Resto Shaman, I know there's one. Just can't remember. Ooh, we're all dead. We're all dead and dying. There's a YouTuber called Rain that does 5-man content. So very, very focused on like Mythic Plus dungeons for Resto Shaman. And then the Wowhead guide writers will also have their info listed. But I would say they all have different play styles for sure. Resto Druid, a little bit more click and heal. Resto Shaman, a little bit more click and heal. Resto Druid, a little bit more plan ahead. Ramp healing is what they call it. And then Holy Paladin is kind of like shotgun healing in raid. You're really like up close and personal with the boss, and you're building your holy power and your combo points typically. So one of the other big changes between Holy Paladin is going to be in Classic, it was more of like a ranged healer. Like you would just stand there and press your healing buttons. Now you kind of get up close and personal and actually attack the mobs, which I like, but some folks don't. Resto Shaman is much more traditional in that regard. Man, I'm not pressing any of my buttons the way that I should. This group is pretty decent. I might ask them if they want to do more. I don't really know how the healer's doing.
You cannot elude my targeting system.
This is another really scary boss to have killing spree for. This is the boss that we didn't get to, so we just climbed up the ramp to kill the final trash pack. And so this boss, we're fighting him now. He's in 2 parts. This part pretty straightforward. God, that hurt. He casts this beam on a party member. You don't want to stand in it. You don't want to take 2 beams. And then these little floating electric bombs will just rotate around the room. They'll target a player's location and they'll come after you. So you want to be careful when you're using Killing Spree. And then when he dies, or when his mech suit goes through his health, he'll pop up here into a way larger mech suit. He'll still do that frontal beam, but it will follow your character, so you don't want to... you kind of want to stay like spread out as a group, and then they'll still do the little bombs. So we want to make sure that when we're doing Killing Spree, it's after these big lasers. General rule of thumb is if you have the laser, you want to remain still. Obviously, sometimes you have to move. So we're gonna fly Killing Spree. And then in this phase, he does this ability, Magnetic Grapple. And he's going to pull all the bombs into one central magnet location. You just want to make sure that you're... Oh, God. Right, that was bad. What we're going to do, hopefully he doesn't target us. That's pretty much it for this guy. It can be a little tough to get the rhythm, for sure.
Magnetic grapple engaged.
And then he'll pop out, and you'll take care of him. So good, quick little run there. We got 162 ranking, so we're up to 793. We got Valor Stones.
The mech originator
Got a pet.
has been destroyed. And so has
This guy got a cloak.
You have my
Champion level
gratitude,
cloak.
heroes.
Gonna
Know
ask him
that
if he
King
needs it.
Megacon's
Need
vision of
cloak?
the world is not one my
Kungo.
people share. We must now focus on rebuilding. But if you ever require our assistance, you need only request it.
Huh. This partnership wasn't that bad. Reminds me how profitable...
Normal process. You could absolutely feel free to ask people for gear at the end of a dungeon run. You just, need this. He just kind of teleported out there, so it seems like he's just not interested in giving it to us. If two people do say, like I said, need cloak, and he said need that cape, common courtesy is to just roll on it. If people are playing with their friends, they'll probably just give it to them and not say anything. Excuse me, got the hiccups. So I'm going to try and list my key again, just because we did get a little bit more score. Maybe that entices some folks. We just need to do one more to get our next box, which will help us with our item level. Also, thanks MK for helping me test YouTube chat. I had one person chat a long time ago and I didn't see it. So it's good to see that still works. Alright, nobody queuing up for this mother load. Motherlode is not the most fun dungeon, in my opinion. It's one of my least favorites. So we're just going to delist there. We're going to find a group. We're going to pull Workshop out of there. 2 to 3 or 2 to 4 plus 2 Cinder Brew. Just needs 1 DPS plus 3 Theater of Pain. Our other failed dungeon. Plus 2 with a Druid. Carry me. All I have done this season is to PvP. I want my KSM mount. Plus 2 need all. Already has a Rogue. This Cinder Brew has a tank. This guy has an Ellie Shaman. So we were talking about professions and profession knowledge. I spent all of our money on consumables. So we'll actually, if we do our alchemy, we will need to... I would hate to do a +3 mother load while I have a +4. Oh boy, looks like that's what we're going to be doing. Okay. So Motherlode, that's another old world dungeon. I mentioned that we were by it when we were doing a quest for the goblins. It's going to be the right portal here. Middle portal is Theater of Pain. All the other ones are on the current continent. Oh, I haven't entered as Horde. Normally you enter, or I enter as Alliance. Oh, the time walking vendors right here. So we did the BFA time walking earlier. We did a bunch of time walking on this character. Every time you do a time walking quest during a time walking week, you'll get a quest to go to that expansion, the capital in that expansion. And you can turn that into a vendor for time warp badges. I mentioned, I don't think that there was anything that would help us from a gearing standpoint from time warp badges, but we do have 2,200 of them, which is not bad. So you can see here the vendor has mounts. Looks like some pretty cool mounts. This really sweet tiger. I'll have to pick these up on my main account. This tiger and this cat. You also have an ensemble. Looks like it's a trench coat, black and red trench coat, and then an ensemble for, it's hard to see with my helmet on, but some troll stuff, and then a helmet, a crown helmet, a dagger, another dagger, offhand. Ooh, that's sick. Ooh, I am definitely coming here on my main account. I gotta write this down. I'm walking. I have a ton of time walking tokens, time warp badges on my main account because I never spend them because it's a hassle to go and get to go to the vendors. But these are really, really cool. Cool pole arms, super cool staff, two-handed sword, two-handed axe, two-handed mace. A lot of these are reskins from stuff that you can find. Ooh, great low fantasy shield. This is a pet, it looks like. Another pet. Oh, a little dinosaur. And then these are just like time walking items. And then it does look like you can get some gear. It seems like it's item level 587. So if you were missing a piece, looks like there's a couple pieces that you could pick up. and then you can also get reputation. So these are whichever week the time walking is, you can gain reputation for that expansion. So if I wanted to increase my Zandalari Empire reputation, I could spend a bunch of time walking badges, and then you can unlock more transmog from those. And then these items in the back here, these are for upgrading heirloom gear, which doesn't really have much of a purpose anymore.
If you
So
find anything exotic, bring it to me.
what do we want though? I would probably want a trench coat ensemble, if I'm being honest, and I'm like 250 away from that. What do they have from one-handers? Kind of a shitty mace. They do have a nice weapon there, an axe. We could get that, pick that up. Or we'll just stockpile them.
If you find anything exotic,
Waiting for the healer. And so this is exactly what I was talking about. Like when I first started this series and I spun the wheel, I was a little bummed out that I got Rogue, because I knew that that was just going to make this challenge a little bit harder, because Rogue is a pure DPS specs. Like MK in YouTube chat was asking about, what's the best healer? The benefit of being a healer, I mean, one, it's a completely different play style. You're healing the group and you're supporting the group instead of trying to do damage. But healers and tanks, because they're not damage dealers feel good. They hit that little, that dopamine node. Not as many people play them. The benefit to that is that you can get into groups quicker because they need you. And there's a little bit of leeway. You'll usually invite, maybe if you get desperate, a little lower of a geared healer than you might normally invite for a DPS. So really hoping that when I spin the wheel next week for season 3, we get a hybrid class of some kind. I'm just going to take Rogue off of it. I'm not going to change anything else, but it would be much easier, in my opinion, to get 3K, because for things like these +2s, we could have knocked out an extra one in this time. You can definitely list your key a little bit higher, or pump your key a little bit higher and get some better folks in there if they see a healer's in there or a tank. But also it's just a different viewpoint of the game. So 622 item level on Holy Scent. He invited a 662 Prot Warrior, 660, and 647. So pretty decent group here. If I was feeling kind of scummy, I might try and didn't put my key in first, because it is a +4 mother load, but that's pretty dick move. Funny to do with friends. Would definitely recommend doing it to your friends, but don't do that in a group like this. So this is Motherlode. Motherlode's kind of like an open concept dungeon. We're going to start by going through a bunch of trash here to this coin operated crowd pummeler. Key things we want to make sure that we're doing, we want to be kicking toxic blades from the assassins. I really got to turn that down. Those icons are way too big. And then we want to be using AoE stops on their Fan of Knives. If they get Toxic Blade and then they Fan of Knives, it will poison the entire party. And then the casters here are going to be these vendors. Normally you don't let them get over there. I should have been more on my game. There are these little mech jockeys that are scattered throughout these trash packs, and there are these broken down mechanized peacekeepers. When the mech jockeys get to a low enough health, they'll run over to one of the peacekeepers and they'll start casting. If they get the cast off, they'll jump into the peacekeeper and they will fire the engine up, and they will turn into this mob that's down here, this peacekeeper. So you can also AoE CC these. I shouldn't have popped killing spree there, but you can also AoE CC those, or you can hit them with a single target stun, and that will stop them from their cast. Okay, visibility is really bad with these changes that we made. This is a good group. So like the priest, for example, a little lower on item level, kind of the same item level as me. He's in here, he's using his CC abilities. We can see that because of Omni CD. So we can see their psychic scream is going off, which means that they're getting in here and they're crowd controlling, which is great. Peacekeepers, they hurt. They do this poison, which you saw there. Then they cast Charged Shield, which they just cast. Charged Shields does a reasonable amount of AoE damage to the group. Healer's got to heal through it. Any defensives that you can contribute are good. And then Motherlode has like a bunch of possible skips. You can run behind houses. You can run around things. But Peacekeepers will see stealth. There are some mobs in here that will see stealth. The thugs will see stealth. So it's really just making sure that you follow the tank as close as you can, and you don't body pull anything into the group. I really got to get better at using short cooldowns more. Just always be cooldowning. That is a good rule of thumb here.
Venture Company thanks you for your patronage. Please enjoy your purchase of the Elite Pummeling Package.
One of the other tactics that we might employ, if we can't get anybody to queue up for our +4, at the end of every dungeon, you can re-roll your key if your key is the same or lower than the dungeon that you just completed. So we can't do it here because our key is a +4, and we're doing a +3. However, if we do another +4, we could re-roll it maybe into something that's a little bit more enticing, like a Rookery. Nice quick dungeon compared to something like this Motherlode.
Voltage increase.
So this boss is the first boss, the coin-operated pummeler. You probably noticed a pattern by now, so he will send out these soccer balls that are bombs, and they have a timer on them. You need to kick them back into the boss. He also drops coins, and then he does this coin magnet ability, so you want to suck the coin, or he'll suck the coins back in, so the tank needs to move him after that. And then he does a little knockback. Folks take some damage over time, so you want to use your defensive there. And the pattern in which the abilities happen is slightly important. So like as a tank, you'll see he does the coins and then the soccer balls. So you might be tempted to want to move the boss right after he does the coins, before he does the coin magnet, but then you're going to be moving him away from the soccer balls. So try and let them hit the soccer balls in. And then we head into another place that trash is very commonly getting pulled, which is this hallway here. So these trash packs, the Earth Shapers are casters, rats don't do anything. It's the extractors that have the high health pool. So you do want to interrupt, and then they'll cast rapid extraction, and it will put these AoEs on the ground, which you should never killing spree into. But it definitely, there's a good amount of negated space from that. So normally one of the things that folks will do is they'll pull backwards, so they'll bring everything back into that room that we were just in. I feel like half the time, I mean, it is all about communication, but I feel like half the time people aren't paying attention and they die anyways. So you just want to kick the Earth Shapers, dodge the extractor. Once you get up on this hill, this priest is awesome. I'll tell you why in just a second, but once you get up on this hill, you can walk this way because that's where you're going to be headed to the next part of the trash. So what the priest is doing, although I think the paladin just kind of funked it up or whatever, is they're casting this mind soothe, this little eye icon that you can see here, eye icon, and that icon, or that ability, will reduce their aggro radius, so the radius in which they'll come in and attack you. And that is one of Priest's big utility here. So you just cast it again. It's only usable on humanoids, I think. Maybe some other mob types. And then we kind of head out into a different direction. We're not head out into a different direction, but our mob type changes. We get a little bit more elemental. And these are usually things that you fight. You fight this group together, these stone furies. You really want to kick Furious Quake. That's like the most important ability to kick. Tectonic Barrier, you do want to try and kick it or take care of it, but it's not crazy if they get their shield off. Just takes a little bit longer. And then this pack up here has a lieutenant, 2 Earth Shapers, and the Taskmaster. So you want to prio down the Taskmaster. This guy puts a stacking bleed on tanks, and then he charges away. And so the tank is supposed to like use that charge time to allow the bleed to fall off. Like sometimes he doesn't charge far enough away, or sometimes you have like a group like us where we're all melee. So like he's got 13 stacks of this dot over here. 14's doing 4 million damage. And then all of a sudden he's like a warrior. He doesn't have anything to hit or to gain rage from. And this is a holy priest, thankfully, but he needs to be able to hit stuff to...
Trespass in my domain! The blood of Azeroth flows through you!
He needs to be able to hit stuff in order to cast his defenses to build up rage. So this boss, super straightforward for melee, actually like semi-boring for melee. He starts off with 2 ads, and one ad, well, they'll both target ranged players, and they'll start slowly chasing after them. The ranged player's job here is to kite, so that the ad doesn't hit them, because they do hit pretty hard. He also does a frontal cone, and then he does this big AoE earthquake that upsets the ground beneath him for the rest of the fight with small area denial. The platform's so big, so it's really not too bad. And then what he's doing here is he is enraging one of the ads, and we need to kill it. as quickly as we possibly can. There's a certain timer. If you don't kill it fast enough, it'll like enrage the main boss. So you need to focus down the one that will get marked with skull. And then the other one just continues to get kited. We ended up cleaving that one down because we're all melee, which is totally fine. I feel a little bad for the healer. So now he's going to summon 2 more. They're going to pick somebody to fixate on. Will be the healer. Then he empowers one, gets marked with skull. Back to the boss. Probably could have just killed the boss, but then you walk over to this minecart, you pop down, roll down this hill, and we'll continue along the way. We're going to go up through here and around the corner. In this section, trash mobs change again. You have 3 main ones. The red ones we don't care about. It's the alchemists and the masterminds. The alchemist will cast. They'll transform your compatriots into goo. And then the masterminds will cast that spell that they'll cast 2. They'll cast Mind Lash, which is a single targeted spell at you. And then they'll cast Brainstorm, which is what summons these little gold tornadoes that are floating around here. So they summon under players as little yellow circles. And they suck for our group because our group is all melee. So the priest is out there having a grand old time, and we're all in melee getting brainstormed because we're too dumb to move. And you can see the mobs that are marked in red. Well, not those ones, but the little subjects that were impacting us as we came over. Those all die super quick. And then the focus is really on the masterminds and the alchemists. People usually pull a little bit more in this section just because they need trash percent, and there's, much like the other one, the last dungeon that we did, there's not a lot of trash percent at the end of the dungeon. You'll see that after we kill this boss. We'll go into this last section here. It's 2 masterminds, so double brainstorm, and then the alchemist. So brainstorm. Yeah, I kind of knew that was going to happen. I got stuck. I mentioned it last time, but they're changing Killing Spree in the next patch. So if you see me, if you're thinking about playing a rogue and you see me using Killing Spree and you're like, God, that's a headache, they're actually turning it into a really cool, like, gun button where you just, like, your character does these really cool animations and shoots in a cone in front of them. So this boss has a couple abilities here. So right when you start off, she'll split up the platform. So you want to, like, as a player, you want to kind of run on top of her a little bit. Oh man, I'm failing here. So that you can follow the tank and which side you want to go on, because that'll be a little bit random. You'll either stay close, you'll stay over here by where you entered, or you'll go far like we did. And then the ability that happened to me first was an additional AoE where I put more Azurite down on the ground. And then the ability that happens afterwards is a frontal propellant. So Azurite Catalyst, this guy is getting more Azurite thrown on him. He wants to keep it close to the existing Azurite so that when we get Propellant Blast and it starts moving around, he can make sure that that gets pushed off the platform. So another Killing Spree moment. We don't want to use Killing Spree when we have Propellant Blast because we're going to be Propellant Blasting all over our team. And then you don't want to stand in it when somebody else has it because it's going to do damage. Normally what people do in like higher level keys is actually they'll run past the boss and they'll come over to these two and they'll pull them on the boss because the boss is kind of boring. It doesn't have a whole ton of mechanics. So these look like the Peacekeepers, but they're a little bit different. They're war machines. They will deploy these mines, and the mines will fixate on a person and chase them down, and if they touch them, they will blow them up. And then they do Charge Shot, which is an AoE ability. The Specialists will cover the ground with missiles. That's pretty much it. Dodge the missiles. And then throughout this portion of the dungeon, there are these little mines that will pop up out of the ground and fixate on players. So you'll have these little eyes above your head. You want to make sure that you are trying to kite them away. And you want to do your friends favors. So if you see one getting close to the friend, like that one, you want to give it a kidney shot. You can use CC here. Ursul's Vortex from Druid is very good. As long as people are aware that it's going down. This is another one that can be a little tricky with trash. I mentioned that earlier, but once you get down here, these war machines are worth 4.8%, so they're pretty chonky, but you can tell they take a little while to kill, especially when the whole group is running around like mad people, chasing after their mines and stuff like that. Ooh. I just cheated death because I wasn't paying attention. You'll end this section with 2 machines up at the top, so we're actually going to get another like almost 10%. It also helps if you make sure you're pushing your cooldowns and killing them. But you can see here, I think he's trying to pick up some more mines. The mines themselves are worth 0.2%. I can't kill that because they're on me. And if you do die here, you do respawn just back down on that beach, so you can pop back up. 88. This will be close. Might have to pull another one. Well, they're all on me. Yeah, so you can see Holy Scent just popping right up here.
You bums realize how much
he's realized he's missing a little bit of trash, so he's gonna pop down here. I can't tell if he just wants mines. This is not gonna be enough, my friend. Need a couple more mines. 4 more mines. Or a specialist. Specialist is 1%. This is a great example of like pulling efficiently. We didn't do anything wrong here. It's a +3 key, like not super worried about it at all. So we got another mine from that. But making sure that your route has everything accounted for will just help alleviate time sinks. Like we probably just lost, 45 seconds killing that mob, running around trying to find it, and moving up here, which, we have 10 minutes left on the key. Not really that that crazy. So oops. Oh, it was on me. So we could talk about what this boss does. This boss will be funny with a bunch of melee. This boss will target a team member with a little orange arrow, and then after a couple of seconds, he's going to send out a missile that'll chase after them. If I get it again, I'll go further out. So it's on him, and missile will fly out. And the further away from the boss you are, the easier it is to make sure that your party doesn't die from the missile. He also does those little micro missiles. And so there's a safe spot for those micro missiles, which is right here on the corner of this grate to the left of when you enter. And the micro missiles will like basically one-shot you at higher key levels. So, and then at 50% health, he will fly up with a big shield around him, and he'll summon these two guys. These guys cast Buster Shot, and it freaking hurts. Just like random target. There's nothing you can do. You can't CC them. You just have to heal it. And while that is being cast, he will target a random party member with... Is he targeting me? Oh, shit. This little arrow, which I guess is hard to see. You want to take that arrow to one of the 3 bombs. And then run away. Once he hits all 3 bombs, he's going to explode. And then we want to bring him back over to that safe spot. So this is the homing strike that I mentioned. Oh god, and that's a problem. That's what happens when you don't bring him back over to that safe spot. Those missiles come out really fast. You can identify where those missiles are going to be from these little helicopter guys. So like they're moving now. The missiles are going to be primarily in this area and this area. They'll be a little bit less frequent over here and over here. Looks like I got a res, so I'm back up here. So we really do want to move the boss. I need some better weak auras, I think, or to make sure Little Wigs is working. And you can see these abilities can overlap at like some of the worst times. So we're about to get another homing missile right after the Gatling gun. And there's literally nowhere for us to go. Which is why the safe spot is super important. But whatever, got it done. Got a little bumpy at the end there. We did it. We got a helmet. Champion track helmet. Already have one. But the nice thing about this champ track helmet here is it's champion 2 out of 8. So it's the highest item level that we've looted. And because it's champion 2 out of 8. Yes, please. I'm just going to hit it with a slash roll. 20. He can beat a 20. He can take it. Have at it, Holy Scent. Oh, he didn't beat it. Looks like I'll be taking it. Sorry, buddy. I need all the upgrades I can get for this little challenge I'm doing. You'll get another one. The nice thing about this helmet is it's champion 2 out of 8, so I can't use it. Well, I can use it, but it would replace my tier piece. But because it's champion 2 out of 8 and my currently equipped one is champion 1 out of 8, I can upgrade this for just Valor Stones, no crests, which is great. So we did, even though, we got the same item that we already had, we didn't get, a better chest piece or better gloves or whatever that we could catalyze. That's totally okay. We'll still get some usage out of that. And the tank gave us a nice cloak with leech, which was an upgrade over our veteran cloak, which is good. So we're going to drop the group here and we're going to go turn in this quest. So this is the Emissary of War quest for heroic gear. We don't need any weapons. This is our best weapon that we could get. So I am going to change my loot spec over to assassination. The reason that I'm doing this is, I'm not going to play this character again, but just like from a new player perspective, I know my weapons are good. If I ever wanted to play a spec that uses daggers, I might want to have a dagger. So just in case, instead of getting a hero weapon that I'm not going to use as a mace, an axe, or a sword, I'm just going to open this as assassination. Because I'm a melee DPS, my trinkets are all going to be the same, and we're just going to hope for something good. Awesome. We got a hero track chest piece. Haste mastery, so not the most perfect in terms of stats, but it's still a big upgrade for us. It's 20 item levels there, and it's a hero track piece. So when we catalyze that, it turns into versatility mastery. So it's just a swap over between haste and mastery. I'm going to leave it because I'm looking for haste right now. I'm going to leave it as it is. I might catalyze it in the future if I get a different pair of hero pants, or maybe I get some hero shoulders that are haste bursts, and I want to catalyze this so that I keep those good stats. But nice little upgrade for us there. So we got some item level. We did a good amount today. We're really going to just be pushing, I think, all day tomorrow and Monday evening just to see how far we can get with our Raider IO score. You can see how quickly it does accumulate. I mean, we're almost up to 1,000 just from doing all of the different dungeons at that +2 and +3 level. So if we take care of Cinderbrew Meadery at that low level, we'll definitely get up there. If we do a Theater of Pain, we'll get up to about 1,200. But the amount of score that you get, the higher you go, it does go down a little bit. So you don't get as many points the higher up you get. So when we return tomorrow, we'll look at finishing out these last two incomplete dungeons and maybe getting us a floodgate that's a little bit higher. But then we're going to start leveling up our key game here. So what we really want to do is we want to hit that 650 item level. We can do that through our belt and through some crafted gear. We'll also probably use our other 2 sparks to craft 645 item level necklace and a 645 item level bracers. We'll put an embellishment on the bracers. So that'll get us really close to that 650 level. We should also craft boots. So maybe we'll craft boots instead because they're 626. And then we're just going to keep doing dungeons. Again, our goal is to get to that +6, +7 level. So we start getting hero gear and gilded crests. We can use that to craft even higher item level stuff. So thanks for tuning in today to this episode. Appreciate all the positive feedback. I did put a new video up on how to gear during the first 3 weeks of season 3. Just covers like all of the fundamental gearing concepts and the pacing of the new patch that's going to come out this Tuesday. We will delete this character if we don't get 3K IO. We're going to delete this character anyways. What am I kidding? This character's on a completely fresh account. I'm not going to keep 2 WoW subs going, so we'll move back over to the main account. But on probably Wednesday evening, we'll record for season 3, and we're going to be spinning the wheel again. And we're going to be taking a different approach with a different character. So we'll boost it up to level 70. We'll go through the campaign again, and we'll just start. Okay, if we were a new player, what would this look like for us? We'll start fresh. So thanks for tuning in. If you like this video series, the likes and subscriptions are huge motivators, as well as comments. I appreciate the kind comments that I've gotten so far. So please do that if I did end up in your algorithm feed. Thanks for watching. Check out some of the other videos on the channel, and